Mhm. Yeah, we're almost there. We're there, and we want to, as usual, do what we know we can do best. We never go to where we cannot ventilate food. We go to area that we know that people will look at us and say we are doing something. We are not minions, and we can never be minions. And we will never, ever be minions. Well, our target now is in the research and clinical phase. What we bring out this profession called veterinary medicine, a profession I have employed, and a profession I have deployed, and a profession I have been involved, and I will continue to be involved. We will have a good time today. Ezeibe is our resource person today, and he has a lot to tell us in nano agents, what they mean, those metals, how come they are good in treating tumors, viral diseases, and resistant antibacterial infections, and then his stress. He will deploy his energy today, a lot of controversies, a lot of givings, a lot of misgivings, but today we want to get the giving. And that is why we want to hear from the horse's mouth. We don't, as a matter of principle, we don't go back talk. We face it frontal. And today, Ezeibe, you have the floor. You've given us a catalog of what you are, which we know, because this is your natural space. So we don't want to go behind and start talking on who you are, because we know who you are. You're a PhD holder, and in veterinary medicine, you've done a lot of research. And one thing about Ezeibe, do you still remember when we call you member?
Yes, now.
Member of the Students' Union. He was part of the Students' Union Executive Council. And when I wanted to be president of the president of University of Nigeria Students' Union, SUD, Ezeibe used the Ngwa Mafia to stop me. And he's laughing.
Chief Mohbad defeated the Southern Mafia.
So that
Chief Mohbad.
they used Chief Mohbad to deal with me. I came a distance second in SUG. But that's part of my metamorphosis. After going through that political trial, it was easier for me when I wanted to be president of Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association. You see, one thing about life, you lose sometime, you win sometime. That same Ezeibe, who used the Ngwa Mafia against me, was the one.
Use veterinary mafia.
Was the one who used veterinary mafia to install me. I remember his text messages, how I should move. And in all swiftness, I used all his strategies he sold to me. And I got to where when we get it, I say, that's politics for you. For those of you, when you are defeated in an election, the person who defeated you become an enemy. That is not the way we are wired. That's not the way political opposition is not political enmity. It's not an instrument for any recriminations. Anyway, be it is as it may, I just want us to be on a hilarious mood before we go into the big showdown. When we were young, did you watch that film, Big Showdown? Anyway, you were not the movie type, you were the schooling type. You are the scholar. The only thing, when you were a member of the Students' Union, no portfolio attached. They say you are a member. And won the election, member of the Students' Union. We are looking for how you will drive us out of what do you call it? Drive us out of Tradon. Students Union Tradon. But anyway, was a member of the Students Union Executive Council. I think in 1985. He was a member of this 84-85, was a member of the Students Union Executive Council. And you cannot beat Ezeibe. You can beat him. Well, as a student, because he finished 86, I finished 87. So we know who is who in that veterinary faculty, who will go out of their way to do other things apart from studying veterinary medicine. And today we are enjoying it. He was the dean of the faculty of veterinary medicine at Maduike, Michael University of Agriculture, Maduike. He has been holding some responsible, though when he wanted to venture into the registrarship of the Veterinary Council of Nigeria, where he saw another brand of mafia. But the only thing he said is that today there is another day. We can fail today, but there's another day tomorrow. Okay, on that note, I'm calling you to give us while to prosecute why we are here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Like I've been displayed the title, we are looking at deploying electrically charged agents in order to cure what we call incurable diseases, incurable in quotes, because they are said to be incurable, but we say that they can be cured. Who is sharing? Move on.
Yes.
Like, let us start with reviewing literature. I cannot see the.
No, he will come. He will come. Don't worry. Don't
So,
worry about us. We
are going to talk about literature. I want people to be seeing what I'm talking about, because I've been quoting references so that people can cross-check the references to confirm that yes, what we are saying is real.
Fire, action.
Let me continue because I know he's coming. Like the difficulty we have in curing, in developing medicines for viral diseases and tumors is just because that normal cells, which we want to protect, because the treatment is to protect normal cells. The normal cells have similar biochemistry with viral biochemistry. Why it has same biochemistry with a chemistry of tumor cells. Remember that tumor cells are normal cells that have gone, let me put in quote, mad. So they are the same cells. Now, if you design medicine against biochemicals, what we have been doing before now is to look for biochemistry of pathogens and design something that can inhibit them. Whatever you design to inhibit biochemistry of viruses, we have some effect on biochemistry of normal cells, which you want to protect. Now, if you design something that is going to inhibit biochemistry of abnormal cells, that is the cancer cells or tumor cells, they are exactly the biochemistry of normal cells. So the likelihood is that you go to the medicine you are designing, we have intolerable side effects. Human being or animals taking them cannot tolerate them, so the medicine might even kill the animal or the human being you are trying to save. That is the difficulty we have in developing medicines for viral diseases and tumors. Now, what do? We are advocating now that medicines for viral diseases and tumors should act by physical effects. And if you want medicine to act by physical effects, of course, there's a big challenge. They need to reach every virus-infected cell or every tumor cell. If they are not able to reach them, then you have the phenomenon we have in HIV/AIDS, which they call sanctuary cells. I have always told people that they should be used as sanctuary. It is hypocrisy or blasphemy rather, because sanctuary is a place where we believe God lives. Where when we go there, we are safe. Viruses are not boasting. We are in sanctuary. Therefore, nothing can happen to us. We are saying that all we need to do is to find a medicine that are small enough to reach where the where every cell. And of course, the smallest virus is 5 nanometers. Smallest virus is 5 nanometers. According to literature, when we were in school, we are told that smallest virus was 17 nanometers, but now they have found smaller ones, 5 nanometers. So we need to get something, a medicine that is smaller than 5 nanometers. That is where nano particles come into play. So move on. Now, let me continue the review. I don't know who is sharing, so move on. Literature, because we have talked about why it is difficult to develop viral medicines and tumor medicines. We want to go back as we are reviewing. I said, like, to overcome the difficulty, antiviral medicines should be physically acting, and if they are going to be physically acting, they must be small enough, smaller than 5 nanometers, so that they can reach every virus infected cell anywhere in the body and every tumor. Now, we are reviewing features of the pathogens. We also review features of existing medicines. So if you go into literature, the medicine we are talking about today was not invented by Ezeibe. It had been in existence. All that Ezeibe is doing is explore features of that medicine. What we call aluminum silicate is a mineral which has been approved as medicine even before now. The particles of the molecules of that mineral are made of nanoparticles that are only 0.96 nanometers thick. Remember, we said that we want to get medicine that is not more than 5 nanometers. And now we are talking about one that is less than 1 nanometer, because 0.96 nanometers thick. That medicine, that molecules of aluminum silicate are made of nanoparticles that are only 0.96 nanometers thick. Therefore, they are much smaller than 5 nanometers. They reach every virus infected cell anywhere in the body. And literature say that those nanoparticles have electrical charges. One end is positively charged, the other end is negatively charged. And of course, we know that viruses are electrically charged. The RNA viruses are positively charged, while the DNA viruses are negatively charged. Why tumor cells are negatively charged? All these things, all this information are in literature. We are not talking about what we discover, quoting what is in literature. What we are doing is to apply the principles that are already in literature in order to solve the problem we have. Now, apart from having nanoparticles that are electrically charged, the aluminum silicate, being a silicate, is an immune stimulant. Silicates are immune stimulants. All those information are in literature. That they're similar. So the aluminum silicate will be boosting immunity because it's a immune stimulant. And at the same time, it's going to have opposite charges to whatever a virus or a tumor cell has. Therefore, we postulate, one, that being having electrical charges, both positive and negative, it is going to be able to mop any virus, because viruses will have either positive or negative. It must also mop tumor cells, because tumor cells are negatively charged. That is one. Because of its size, it will be able to reach every virus infected cell anywhere in the body, so that there will not be anything like a sanctuary cells. Every cell that has a virus will be reached. So that is the aluminum silicate. We also, because of literature also say that because of those charges that aluminum silicate molecules, nanoparticles have, when they are in solution, they form three-dimensional colloidal structures which stabilize. That is hydration. Hydration means they turn upside down looking for opposite charges to attract. That forms what they call three-dimensional colloidal structures which stabilize. Now, if you go to literature, if you go to dictionary, stability means have so many meanings, including making emulsions homogeneous. That is what people were using this aluminum for, to make emulsions homogeneous. But beyond that, it also means to protect against destruction. What is a drug metabolism? Drug metabolism means destroying the drug. When you take drug into the body metabolizes it, that is destroys it. That is why if you take paracetamol, for instance, to relieve pain, after some hours, the pain will come back because the paracetamol has been destroyed. Now, if you stabilize paracetamol, you delay the rate of destruction or metabolism so that it lasts longer. And there is already literature that when medicines are made to last longer in blood, their potency or the efficacy improve. Now, by improving the efficacy of medicines, of course, normal doses usually from our experience become overdose because they improve efficacy. That means you have to reduce the dosage to something less, and our experience has shown that when you reduce to 75% of the dosage, then it works better. Now you are using lower dose to achieve your effect. Using lower dose means that you are relieving side effects of medicine, which is in most cases is a immune suppression. So immunity will not enhance because you are using lower dose to achieve your effect. The immunity is enhanced. You are not enhancing efficacy of medicines. You are also enhancing enhancing immunity of patients. The enhanced efficacy of medicines and enhanced immunity of patients will clear even recent infections, and it will also be able to clear up to 95% of sensitive infections. So when you clear 95% of sensitive infections, then you prevent development of resistance. When you clear, because your immunity is enhanced and efficacy is enhanced, even recent infections can be cleared. That is where we are trying to talk about curing viral diseases, curing tumors, and curing antimicrobial resistant infections. So because you have stabilized, the same medicine has stabilized antimicrobials, their lower doses achieve desired effects, reducing their side effects. Because side effect is reduced, you are enhancing immunity. And at the same time, what you are using as stabilizing is a silicate being immune stimulant. So it stimulated immunity, it reduced dosage of antimicrobial you are using. Because of the reduced dosage, the body produces more immunity. So enhanced immunity and enhanced efficacy clears enough infection so that none is left. Because when it's also literature that says when you clear up to 95% of infections, that 5% or less that is left can be cleared by immunity. So if immunity clears it, you have terminated infection, there won't be anything to develop resistance. Now you are preventing this development of resistance. You are also curing already resistant infections. What of anti-stress? Well, when we talk about restabilizing the body, of course, stress means destabilization of body physiology. So if it is the result of body physiology, if we are able to restabilize the body, then we will have cured stress. Now, these things are called pharmaceutical stabilizing agents. The only problem we had when we were starting to do this research is will it be able to cause stabilization in vivo? Because we know it is a stabilizing agent in vitro. Can it also stabilize in vivo? Now, experience which I know that most of us already have is that when you treat dogs with oxycycline long-acting in conjunction with diaminoxide acetate, most cases come down with some cases come down with nervous signs. And if you have cared to read about those nervous signs, compare them with nervous the signs of diaminoxide acetate toxicity, you find out that what is happening is overdose of diaminoxide acetate. I had to reason. Why is it that when you are using long-acting, instead of 10 to 20 milligrams per kg for 5 to 7 days, which gives you a maximum of 140 milligrams per day, dog, now you are using 20 milligrams per kg, repeated only once, which means at the end you are treating the dog with 40 milligrams per kg, and it's a chaos, which means that also the cycling dosage has been reduced drastically. Now, why don't we reduce the dosage of diaminoxide acetate? So what is happening is that what was used, the stabilizers that was used to make oxycycline long-acting is stabilizing diaminoxide acetate in vivo. Because of that stabilization, diaminoxide acetate potency has increased, and because the dosage was not reduced, now you are causing diaminoxide toxicity. That is why what is causing that embarrassment. So we decided also to try it and see if this thing can stabilize in vivo, why can't it be useful to us by using to stabilize the distressed bodies so that you can see what will come out of it. So we also postulated that ultra small size, okay, that is the size. Please, the person sharing, move forward. We are past this where you are now. Move on. I don't know who is sharing.
I'm the one sharing. Don't worry. Continue.
So move on. We are past him. Okay. So go to the summary of our postulations. You can see the references we are making there, because what we are saying are not what we discovered. We are quoting what is already in literature, because the difference between science and African medicine is that whatever you claim in conventional medicine must be based on literature. So all that we are doing is based on literature. Like I said, in addition, nanoparticles enhance drug delivery, because the enhancement of drug delivery plus prolonging high availability of drug, all those things improve efficacy. So, no, you are too fast. Go back. Go back.
Continue.
Go
Please
back.
continue.
Now, like I've said, if we had now agree with me that the medicine called aluminium silicate is a wonderful mineral which the world should explore for treatment of viral diseases, tumors, antimicrobial site infections, and heat stress, then the issue is that how come some countries don't have it? It's not in every country. Like my own country, Nigeria, we don't have aluminium silicate as a mineral. So if we don't have it, how do we now use it as if we claim it's wonderful? How do we use it? Now, from the names, aluminium silicate, and if you go to literature, you find out that there are two other medicines called, one is called aluminium silicate, kaolin, and there's another called silicate, silicate. So these two medicines, you can see that their names are similar to the name of aluminium silicate. Then if you see their chemical formula, you will now find out that from their chemical formula that you can get aluminium silicate from aluminium silicate and magnesium silicate. So we use aluminium silicate, one volume of aluminium silicate with 3 volumes of magnesium silicate to get 2 volumes of aluminium magnesium silicate. That equation you can see there is our own method. It is Nigerian made. It is veterinary made. We were able to develop a formula for using aluminium silicate, which many countries have, and magnesium silicate, which many countries have, to get aluminium magnesium silicate, which some countries may not have. That's number 10 is the patent. That is patent granted to us for that, what we developed. And this equation has been online for many, many years. Nobody in the world has been able to fault it. So we are able to get this in, and that is what we are now testing against so many pathogens in different forms. That is when we talk about medicinal, we give you that name, medicinal synthetic. That is our own name. The name the God gave the mineral is aluminium AMOS. When you add medicinal synthetic, it becomes personal to Nigeria, personal to veterinarians, personal to the speaker. Move on. So now that we have summarized our postulations, we now discover that aluminium silicate is not absorbable. Like we said, it's an existing medicine. Aluminium silicate is not absorbable. Magnesium silicate is also not absorbable. They are all existing medicines. They are used for local treatment. Local treatment means either topical application, or you take them orally. They enter the stomach, intestine, out. They don't enter into blood. Now, if you want to employ them for viral diseases, for treatment of tumors, antimicrobial site infections, first there's need for them to enter into blood. And thank God for us that there's a principle called active transport. That the principle says that you can use simple sugars to transport electrical charged molecules across mucous membrane into blood. Now, we are dealing with electrical charge medicine, that is aluminium silicate. And of course, what we did now was to use simple sugar, dextrose, add it to our medicinal aluminium silicate, so that the dextrose carries the molecules which are electrical charged across mucous membrane into blood. Blood now circulates all over the body. So it's now able to use its opposite charges to mop viruses or mop tumor cells and to stabilize other medicines to make them work better at lower dosage, which overcomes antimicrobial resistant infection. So we were able to solve that challenge. Move on. I think the summary now. Move on. Okay. Now that is where we summarize. Like I have always said, anybody who wants to agree with me for this invention should base his agreement with these summaries. Or if you want to disagree, you should also point out what is wrong here. Like we said, we postulate that opposite charges electrical attraction will be a treatment mechanism for diseases caused by electrically charged pathogens, which include viruses and tumors. So if anybody can find anything wrong with this, then he would have disproved us. We also postulate that ultra small size of AMOS nanoparticles will make them reach every virus infected cell. Since the smallest virus is 5 nanometers, and we have something that is less than 1 nanometer, is there any way a 5 nanometer can reach that 1 nanometer will not reach? So that is our postulation. We also postulate that AMOS would restabilize the stress body physiology. Like we have given the background, it is known to be stabilizing agent in vitro. Now we have seen that stabilizing agent put in oxytetracycline goes to stabilize the amino acid which causing trouble for us. So which means that stabilization can also occur in vivo. So if it can happen to us causing us embarrassment, why don't we make use of it for good, so that it goes into the body, does that stabilization of body physiology, so that stress can be reversed. Move on. Part of the summary. Move on. We also so another contribution we made is that by enhancing the efficacy of medicines and immunity of patients, AMOS would lead to termination of treated infections, so that nothing remains to become AMR, that's antimicrobial resistant infections. It may also lead to cure of already resistant infections. That is what we are discussing. Development of an AMOS formulation, we named the enzymes and a chemical equation. Okay, so our achievement is also, or our contribution is also to develop the enzymes which we have described. Applying active transport, which is already in literature, to make the unabsorbable medicine become absorbable so that it can function systemically. Move on. One more step. Okay. Studies. Now, it doesn't matter how sound postulations are. They should be tested. We have said, it will use opposition to mop. It will use stabilization to treat AMR. It will use restabilization to treat anti-stress. To treat oxidative stress. So these things have to be tested, because you may have sound postulation. When you go to the treatment, something happens and it doesn't work out. So we have also done the studies. We said that AMS has been tested in vitro and or in vivo against 3 DNA viruses and 6 RNA viruses. Also, in some antimicrobial formulations are being, remember the language, I said this one have been tested, that one are being. So we are continuously testing it. Then we also have a move on. We have also started using it to treat stress, that is heat stress. So mopping viruses and tumor cells with enzymes. Samples of viruses are incubated in vitro with an equal amount of enzymes in terms of volume to weight basis. Viral samples with the enzymes and their controls are tested for viral data. That is in vitro test. So their means are compared to know whether they are significantly different or not. Move on. Then we also gone to treatment of animals and human beings. Move on. So, okay, stabilizing antimicrobials with enzymes to improve their efficacies and to reduce their dosages needed for treatment. That is antimicrobials. We also stabilize them in vitro and then use them to treat. And we have found out that, like I said earlier, 100% of the dosages, we treat at 100%, we treat at 75%, we treat at 50%. Because let me also answer this question, because some people ask me questions, especially in my university. Why don't you now continue testing 100%, 75%, 50%. We have done this over and over again, and we have come to find the percentage that is workable. There's no need repeating what you know will not work. That is why in research, you quote literature. So we have done this over again and found out that this 50% is too low, it doesn't work. 100% is too high, it doesn't work. We have found that 75% is what works for us. So in subsequent work, we may not be quoting 50% again. We're quoting more of 25, using 100 only as control to show you that when we say 100 is overdose, that is why we come to 50. So 75 rather. Move on. Restabilizing body physiology. Like I said, I think something was omitted.
Okay. Tell us the omission.
Okay. Don't worry. We can join it. I said that laying hens and broilers were placed daily on farmer. So through drinking water. Like I said, somebody phoned me yesterday was asking me, is it good to put enzymes in feed? I said no. Because if you put it in feed, it has electrical charge. It's going to bind to electrical charge molecules in feed. It will not be able to work. It must always be through water. So we also using the one we call pharma, which is enzymes, through drinking water to try to reduce heat stress in the broilers and layers. We are going to talk about their performance, their results later. Move on. Now we are here. Results. Like I said, results so far. The formulation we call admacin is a enzymes, and we also that is for animals. Then the one we made for human beings, we call it antivirus. Then enzymes on avian influenza virus, we have reported that incubating samples of a H5N1 avian influenza virus with enzymes gave us, by that we can see significant reduction. Each site are from HA76 to 1.4. So that is in vitro. It also reduced embryo mortality rate from 100% to 65%, which is also significant. And the mean death time from 76 hours, it increased mean death time from 76 hours to 120. That is to say, because we incubated the virus with the enzymes, it took longer time before the virus was able to kill the embryos. Move on. When the incubation was repeated, the viral samples reduced the HA titer from 128 to 2 in sample portions incubated once, and the portions incubated twice, and the portions incubated thrice. That is to say that when we incubated once, thrice, so it remained static. Though embryo mortality rate of chickens embryos was 100% in controls, and in a group incubated inoculated with a AIV, that is avian influenza virus, treated with enzymes only once, but the mean death time increased from 64 hours to 104 hours. In other words, even though the virus was able to kill the embryos, it took longer time from 64 hours to 104 hours. So, but the embryo inoculated with a portion incubated 2 times, and the one incubated 3 times had no embryo mortality up to 208 hours when we terminated the infection. In other words, it means that it's a graded reduction. The first one reduced the viral load significantly, so that even though the embryos died, it took longer time for them to die. But when you incubated 2 times, they could not even die at all. So meaning that the enzymes continued mopping until it was able to mop out the whole avian influenza virus. Move on. Enzymes, that's the antivirus on COVID-19 disease, a disease of RNA virus. We didn't do in vitro work on on the COVID-19, but we did only treatment. 4 confirmed COVID-19 patients treated with enzymes reported clinical recovery after 3 days. Remember, why we are being careful, we didn't say they have been cured, we say clinical recovery, because according to protocol of COVID-19, the government agency must come back to the test after 14 days. But within 3 days, our patients have already reported that they have recovered. They waited for 14 days for the government to come. When government came and tested them, they were negative. Even a suspected case in Aba that took 1 dose of enzymes before the agency came to confirm, they tested negative. We cannot claim we cured him, but we thought everything about him looked as if he had COVID-19. But when the government agency came and tested him, he had no COVID-19. The man is still alive today. We are communicating. So we suspect also that the man may have been COVID-19 positive, but that 1 dose which he took before the government came saved him. It became negative when we were tested. Move on. So antivirus on HIV RNA virus, that is what has made so much news. So many people agree with us. Some talk has some of them base it on not on science. They say, how can you say you can cure? Who are you? Common small Ezeibe from Nigeria. HIV positive plasma, we tested it in vitro. The plasma treated with enzymes, that is we call antivirus. The titer was initially 32, but when incubated with the enzymes, his HIV titer increased. Remember, we are claiming that our medicine will cure HIV. Instead of reducing it, is increasing. Don't worry. What we are thinking is that it is unmasking hidden infection. Second incubation of that particular plasma with enzymes reduce. So it unmasks and then goes on to reduce. The data from above 4096 to only 16. That is 99.6% reduction. That is in vitro. Move on. Move on. Move on. Aha. Also, a plasma that tested positive to HIV antibody by the solid phase ELISA was initially negative for the virus, but when it was incubated with our enzymes, it gave positive for the virus again, unmasking hidden infection. Remember that what we call hidden infection are infections within cells. So like our cells are, every abnormal cell, including infected cells, are negatively charged. Our medicine destroys infected cells. So when it is not infected, it's unmasked hidden infection. When it unmasks hidden infection, if you test now, you get higher titer. When you repeat the incubation, it mops out also the virus, bringing it low. HIV of all other 4 samples also increased from a mean of 4 to 14 when incubated with the enzymes once. Move on. When it was repeated, move on. So when we repeated them, move on. When incubation with the enzymes was repeated, mean of the plasma HIV titers reduced to 6.5. So pre-treatment, okay, that was what gave us the impetus, the encouragement to say like, look, this HIV it's not curable, it's curable. That is why we now recruited some of our friends who are in the human practice to try this medicine in human beings who have HIV. We have some of them are cooperating with us. Pre-treatment CD4 means CD4 of male patients on clinical trial of enzymes was less than that of female patients. Move on. But when they move on. When the incubation, no, I think they have gone back.
No, here.
Okay. Move on. Move on. Go on.
Okay.
Move on. No, you are going back. Okay. Okay, so like we said, we reported that the men had a higher CD4 count, but when proliferation of CD4, no, the women had a higher CD4 count, but along the line, when the treatment continued, proliferation of CD4 occurred among the males in month 8, and all of them became HIV negative. When I say we cure HIV, we are not telling lies. We are saying that people become HIV negative both by antigen test and antibody test. We are saying that the males who were behind in terms of immunity, that CD4, now overtook, which is to say that it appears to us that immune response of males is higher than that of females. So, but the proliferation of CD4 also occurred in females after another month, that is month 9, and 2 of them tested negative that month 9. By month 10, when more proliferation of CD4 occurred among the females, all of them became HIV negative, both by antibody and antigen test. Move on. Move on. Okay. Pre-treatment viral loads of males and females were 1268 and 2056 respectively. But after 1 month, they increased. Remember, when we did in vitro work on HIV, I told you that viral titer increase instead of reducing. So in treatment now, they also increase before they started decreasing. They continue decreasing until they came to 0. Can you hear me? Move on. Move on.
Move on.
Move on.
We are moving on. Don't worry.
Okay, yeah. Now we have talked about using a formulation of enzymes which I call antivirus on human beings. Now we are talking about using the formulation of enzymes which I call admacin on animals, starting with a canine parvovirus. This was a master's research at University of Nigeria and Soka. If you know one thing about postgraduate studies, it goes from the department to the college or faculty to the Ph.D. board to Senate before you call a standard examiner. So it has passed through any other investigation you can. The canine parvovirus. This was samples of canine parvovirus. Parvovirus, don't forget, is a DNA virus with enzymes reduce their viral titer from 875.6 to 270.8. So in vitro, it reduced it. All treated dogs, both adults and puppies, recovered, while all untreated dogs died. Gross pathology, all those things, showing that the admacin or formulation of enzymes was able to inhibit parvovirus in vitro and in vivo. Move on. Move on.
Yeah, I'm doing some.
Okay. Move on. So we also okay. No. You have moved too fast. We have moved too fast.
No, we're not fast. Are you too slow? Are we too fast?
You are too fast. You have gone beyond where I am. I'm talking about antiviral medicine. I'm talking about, okay. No, go. So go back. Go back. Go back.
No.
Aha. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think we have passed so many viral diseases. Apart from canine parvovirus, we also use it against Newcastle disease. We are using against infection bursal disease. We also use it against avian influenza. So we have used all used to treat all those things, and most of them as research in university, which is to say they pass through all these things. Now, like avian influenza is a RNA virus. Newcastle is RNA virus. Infection bursal is RNA virus. Remember that the one we discussed was canine parvovirus, which is DNA. So both DNA viruses and RNA viruses have been inhibited. and we pass through a system that nobody should be able to challenge, because if you are challenging me, you are challenging the University of Nigeria, you are challenging my University of Nigeria, University of Agriculture, that are passing. You are challenging all the external examiners that came to investigate all these things. So what we are talking about is real. We are talking about science. We are quoting literature to back what we are talking about. Now, for antimicrobial resistant infections, enzymes cotrimoxazole, that is when we made a formulation of enzymes and the cotrimoxazole, which we call satravite, and we used to treat Salmonella pylorum, which is a bacterium. Normal dose of cotrimoxazole, that's 1 gram per liter, reduce infection load of resistant Salmonella pylorum by 76.99%. No cure. Our experience, this is not from literature, my own experience, which also should be counted, is that for you to get what you call clinical care, you have to reduce infection by at least 80%. From that 80%, you can say, okay, they may be clinically cured. What will get the kind of that infection. So that clinical care, you need at least 80%. But now, when we use cotrimoxazole to treat cotrimoxazole resistant infection, we got only 70%. Of course, you may.
Oh, sorry.
Your network is not too good.
What was the problem? Oh, okay.
Yeah, your network is not so good. Yeah, let us prepare for questions, a lot of questions that we will ask him when he comes on board. Yeah, we'll ask him a lot of questions because he has made some salient points that we need to uncover a lot of hidden facts, because this issue he's raising has been controversial in our veterinary space. And because it's controversial in our veterinary space, we need to dig it down to the ground, and then being able to get the information we need for the science we need. Actually, I have a nephew of mine. He studied pharmacy at University of Lagos, my sister's son, and then did his master's in Imperial College, and then Ph.D. in University of Manchester. And he's dealing with nanoparticles, how it can be used to treat tumor. Maybe I'll link 2 of them together, because those nanoparticles are metals, actually. I think his own, he used silver metals to see whether they have radical effect on tumors. And then we know that a lot of money and a lot of research.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, you can continue. I can hear, we can hear you. You broke off, but we can hear you.
Replacing where we stopped because the network.
Yes.
against that Salmonella pullorum, that the normal dose of cotrimazole could not cure, of course, their resistance. But when we stabilize with the enzymes, normal dose became overdose, while the 75% dose became a curative dose. So we were able to cure that. Even at that, so even at that, we discovered that also that when you stabilize that, even that 75% dose, it could not completely clear the infection. It cleared more than 95. Remember that I said only
Still...
up to 95% of infection. Body immune. Hello.
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
So we needed to use antioxidants, vitamin C, to support in order to get termination of infection. I'm emphasizing this because some people say, are you sure it's not vitamin C that is doing the cure? I say, well, if vitamin C was a cure, how come that WHO and the whole world said these things are incurable? They call them result infections. Those things are supportive, they are not the cure. So what we did was if vitamin C alone will not be able to cure, and we found out that our innovation, but whatever, even if it's vitamin C that cure in Nigeria, whether with vitamin C alone,
Yeah, continue.
Whether with vitamin C alone, or with enzymes alone, or the
combination
should become
Yeah, it's still struggling. What I was saying is
supportive. When you add it, it helps you to clear even already recent infections. So move on.
No, I can't move on because
against Salmonella pullorum. We have other infections we have to discuss. Move to that place.
It's what said I'm sharing now. It's not me.
Move on to antimicrobial infection.
Yeah. Are you okay here? Ezeibe, are you okay here? Are you okay here? Ezeibe, has it crashed out? I was saying, has Ezeibe crashed out?
Struggling with his network.
He's struggling with his network. But being at May is an area that is eliciting international and world global.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're hearing you. Attention. Yes, we're hearing you. But you're muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Remove your video and unmute yourself. So it's the area is now is eliciting world international attention. Like I said, my nephew just finished his PhD on nanometals, using them the nano are small metals actually you use, because you don't use heavy metal. You won't use a high quantity of metals in the body. You use just very small quantities in the body. And then okay. Ezeibe, continue.
Now, like I said, we have used it against to stabilize cotrimazole against Salmonella pullorum. We also use it on streptomycin against Salmonella typhimurium. This typhimurium was a Ph.D. research here at Maduike. So we passed through all those college, from department college, PG school, Senate, external examination, and everybody has looked at it and they said, oh, we can cure antimicrobial resistant infections by stabilizing antimicrobials with like we said, we may need to support. When we did that with salmonella typhimurium, we were able to achieve 100% clearance of the infection 3 days into the treatment. I didn't even design it. I don't know how my students went ahead and say, okay, why don't you try 3 days into the infection, not waiting for 5 days. Within 3 days, the infection has been terminated. So when we finished treatment for 5 days, we allowed for another 5 days and tested again. The infection was also completely, it was zero. So which means that another 4 days. So it terminated the infection. Then for the anti-stress, like we said, we have also started using that to see, since it can stabilize in vitro, can it stabilize in vivo, being guided by the embarrassment from those who treat with a diamond long acting. So we now felt that it may succeed. We have also used it to treat hens that are not laying very well, to improve egg productivity. We also use it against broilers. It improves weight gain, suggesting that we can now design experiments to work on molecular level to take the markers of heat stress. So if we're able to succeed, like I know by God's grace we are going to succeed, that means that we will be solving the problem of low livestock productivity in Africa. Like most African animals, they don't give high litter size, or they don't grow very well, or they don't live very well. This, we believe, are due to heat stress. So if we can stabilize the stress body, and the animals may produce better. So we have done the pilot study, like I said, on egg laying and the weight gain of broilers level to look at the heat stress proteins. Then when we analyze that, we may be able to announce to the world that apart from viral diseases, antimicrobial infection, tumors, that we can also use our medicinal synthetic aluminum silicate to re-stabilize body in order to solve the problem of low livestock productivity in Africa. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have you finished, sir? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. We will have questions, though many people are not asking questions. But I have my own questions, and I have my own comments. You said something that African medicine or African science has no literature. But how come, I will answer the question. How come is that, how come it does not have, what you will say is that African literature is oral and transcended to all facets of literature, be it medicinal, be it historical. How come that, in all simplicity, that a native doctor will finish a job, and spiritually the job is transferred to his son? Whatever his son tries to do, he will not be able to be successful until he gets back to that. You know what it tends to say is that you have finished this job, handed it over the child will never run away from it. If he tries to run away from it, nemesis will catch up with him. I've seen somebody, a rainmaker, I went to pick somewhere when I was young, and that was in 1988 when my grandfather died. And this man said he had tried everything in his life to run away from rainmaking. And anything he tries, he will be successful. They beat, everything will collapse until he gets back and he's making his money. But what I'm trying to say is that African literature is transferable from one generation to the other. And they did not behold it to deploy that such literature should be put down because they didn't have written skills, mind you. their knowledge did not drive them to written skills. And because their knowledge did not drive them to written skills, it stopped at that. That means it is oral. But that knowledge did not stop them from transferring it oral from one generation to the other. I worked on Bacterial Limanitida. Apparently, they have a name for it. Any medicinal plant that cures malaria is all way back. That's medicine for malaria. They don't have any deeper details, just like you said, scientific or whatever. But the only thing is that they have their science orally. Now, this increased it. Okay, if I give you a medicine that treats malaria, you have malaria, and is treated, doesn't it behove on you that scientifically that product treats malaria? So why saying that we don't have a literature? All we have is, and then the scientific, maybe they don't know the taxonomy of malaria, which if you allow them, they can even tell you the taxonomy of malaria in their own area, because they know there are a lot of diseases. And they will determine that this is malaria. I will treat you with this. And they will determine this is malaria that comes out in your eye, that's jaundice, which is a viral infection, and gives you a medicine for it. I worked on Bacterial Limanitida in my final year, which is all over the places. If you Google my name, and that's why I'm so happy with myself. If you Google my name and put Bacterial Limanitida, you see a lot of scientific work that had been done after my work in my final year on Bacterial Limanitida. And Bacterial Limanitida is used in my village to treat malaria. Unless the only thing, can you drink it because it's very, very bitter. Once you drink it, your malaria is gone. But they're not using Bacterial Limanitida on jaundice, what they call Ebola, that is jaundiced malaria, which we all know is hepatitis, which we all know is a viral infection. They're using other chemical, which shows to them that different science clinical science are interpreting different diseases, and you don't use this one to cure this one. I have gone to a place where somebody, you know, this filariasis, the eye worm. This young man will put the chemical, sorry, the plant extract, drop it in the eye of the man suffering from this eye worm. The eye worms will just come out. Then he will use a thread to recoil it out from the eye. That's a science. He's not using Bacterial Limanitida. He's using another chemical, which shows science. So what? The only thing is that we keyed into European science. Does not mean that we didn't have our science. How come there's like different diseases? When we were young during the war, all I need to do is immediately I have a cut in my hand in the bush. I will just get one plant or lamanjuna. I'm not a botanist, so I can't tell you the name. Get this plant, a fluffy plant, squeeze out, spit on it, squeeze out the juice and drop on that cut in the bush, and the thing will dry up. Why am I not using medication or African medication or plant medication meant for malaria to treat that? So there is a science. All you know is that our own science, our own attribute moved along oral tradition and transferred from one generation to the other. Bacterial Lima is in front of my compound in the village. For crying out loud. I didn't go elsewhere to pick it up. And since then, research scientists have invaded my town. Especially Professor Mrs. Inyaga, pharmacognosy at UNA, you might know her, Ezeibe, came to my village looking for that plant because of the work I did on it in my final year. And the thing moved beyond treating malaria, and I used it on trypanosomiasis. And you know, you don't even use anti-malarial products in the literary world for trypanosomiasis. And I used it in trypanosomiasis, and it worked. So The person said, "Can we have the slide reverse?" Yes. No, we are on YouTube. You have to go to YouTube. We are giving you YouTube's YouTube site. You will go. Everything is there permanently. Things you move to YouTube do not go. So when we say that Africa has science documented in oral tradition, move from one generation to the other. Then Ezeibe, have you subjected all this work through the regulatory valves?
Yes, you know that Admasino, let me start with aluminum medicinal silicate, Admasin, Francocin, Sarclavite, Antivat, Ismapin, all these things have been patented. Right now, Admasin, Antivat, and the one we call Francocin have passed through the lab test in a NAVDAC. Any moment from now, they will receive their number. So the regulations are there. So we are passing through all those things. We wait a lot of time because we are waiting for government to come and take over. Since they appear not to be willing, we are now moving, and we have gotten to all those stages. I'm not sure that that they have not been numbered this week. If they are not been numbered this week, they will be numbered next week, because the stage we were by last week was for them to be giving number and sent to us.
Yeah, okay, that's it. If there's any other person, can we have I want to remove this slide so that we can have a screen view of everybody, so that whoever he raises his hand will know. Remove hairs. Remove the Ezeibe. You had some hiccups, but you were able to cover it up. Now, anybody that has questions should raise his hand, because we're on our own. We don't look for who is who. Everybody is who is who in our own sessions. And then because of everybody is who, we give everybody opportunity to talk. And that is why we use 1 hour for the lecturer or the guest speaker to speak, and we use 1 hour to engage the person critically and hypercritically. Because you see, knowledge is so expansive. There is no end to knowledge. I appreciated one man when I was in primary school who told me there's no end to education. So there's no, and then it was when I was growing up that the thing got unfolded to me. There's no end to education. And because there is no end to education, it's so expansive, it's so elastic. The elastic limits has no bound. It has no limit. There's no elastic limit to education and learning. So please, whoever wants to speak, Abwese, do you want to speak? I've seen Asidi Asowe here. So that we can deal with it dispassionately. Whoever wants to speak, or do we end it up here? Because we need more conversations. Because you see, and one thing I will always say here, like when I said my Limanity, that it was like this thing can work. Even your result is not clear. Your result is not clear, and because of that, but today now the result is clear, because many up to 100 authors and research groups has worked on that and come up with my result, come up with other results that were not there, as like anti-hegemony says. The thing is that when you start up a research that is controversial, it will time that will make it so okay. That's why we are here. Whatever question at this stage of this research, like I told you people, I don't know whether Ezeibe was here what I was saying. my nephew worked on nanometals, using it to treat tumor, and had PhD on it. But that one, he started from pharmacy. Pharmacy was his background. So please mute up, mute. So what we are saying here is, if there is any question, let's have your question, and let's see whether Ezeibe, who is the man on the saddle, will able to answer your question hypercritically, so that if there is any form of doubt, that doubt will be raised here and here. Joe Asidi Kenneth, not Asidi Asowe. Is it? Am I dealing with Asidi Asowe? Do you have any question, or do we call it a day? Clara Atman, do you have any question? Do you have a, okay, Abwese, do you have any comment? Before I go to Chikera, whether positive or negative. Like what? Yes.
Can I comment on the African something you said?
Yes, you can comment, yes.
Sorry, I don't know whether I said Africa. I didn't mean Africa. I meant traditional. Whether
that's Africa. When you're
talking
talking about traditional in strict sense, you're talking about traditional.
So most traditional.
What you will say is that they have their own way of proving it right. Putting a name on it. Ezeibe.
So that's what I'm saying. What I mean is that those things you cannot take.
Your network is messing everything up. It started very well.
And there's something for you to quote for him to know. So, but if it's something that you already literature, like what we are quoting, I already literature. Anybody anywhere in the world can go to literature and confirm what he has talked about. That's all I mean. I don't mean I'm not trying to.
Yeah, but in my what I'm trying to tell you is that
Africanness, no, not at all. Most of what we are doing today is there. So all we're talking about is agriculture. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, okay. You're still struggling. Ugelumba Victor, do you have anything to say so I can unmute you? Victor, do you have anything so I can unmute you? You're always part of. Yeah, is there anybody that wants to speak? So, where are we now? Are we getting people? Ibe, Chikara, you can talk. I'm unmuting you. You can talk. Ibe, unmute yourself and talk. Unmute yourself and talk. Yeah. You are there in Umuike. What did you see? Ibe, Chikara.
Yes, sir. Good day.
You're welcome. What did you see with his work?
Well, I've listened keenly to my lecturer, Professor Ezeibe, in his presentation. And most of what he said, especially with the research output he mentioned, carried out by his students here in our school, we followed those research procedures keenly. And keenly because we know that, like you said, Ochendo, this discovery of Prof seems to be controversial. So we followed up those research procedures keenly with his students, and we followed up the difference too. And we came to realize that, as Prof has told us here today, those outputs, those results of the research were just as he has presented. The most recent one that his PhD student presented about 2 weeks ago, I was there at the defense, and one of the audience tried to find out the level at which the antioxidant that was added, the vitamin C, played a role, with a feeling that perhaps the positive effect could have been because of the vitamin C, and tried to ask if there was need to have had a group where the students used only the antioxidants instead of combining the antioxidants with the product, with the synthetic artificial magnesium silicate. But Prof was able to defend this, knowing the role of antioxidants, which we already know very well from the literature and the results from that research, that the antioxidants may have the vitamin C added may have caused them to reduce the dose of the drug itself to achieve a good result instead of having a higher dose of the drug. So by and large, here in Maduike, we believe in the work of Prof. Ezeibe. And again, one thing we should know is that for as many patients as have been tried with this product, never came directly to Prof. Because the university, again, because of the controversial nature of this discovery, had to set up a committee headed by the University Medical Center, where those patients will first of all have to go to the university clinic, where procedures will be taken to ascertain that they are either hepatitis positive or they are either HIV positive, before the medical center will refer them to the college where Prof. Ezeibe will place them on his medication for trial. And as they are doing the test, they are still going back to the human doctors at the medical center for confirmation. So it's not as though it is a hidden procedure we are doing here in Maduike. It's very open, in collaboration with the human doctors at the medical center for confirmation. So I will continue to congratulate Professor Ezeibe and praying earnestly that the world beyond Nigeria will believe him and put more effort in getting his products commercialized. Thank you, sir.
No, it's not like the world will believe him. The world, the world, in strict honesty, the world will not believe him. So the world will just come in terms with him and terms with his research through their protocol.
Well, sir, I said this because just yesterday there was a radio program. There is this FM here in Umuahia, 99.9, which almost everybody listens to by 8 o'clock when they do their press review. Now, I was driving to school yesterday morning when that program was on, and one of their media reports was that there's a discovery for the cure to HIV by someone elsewhere, by a European. And then during the phone-in program, a lady asked the presenter that she has heard of this man, Professor Ezeibe, who has also made claims to his product that has reduced HIV virus to negative in patients. Now, how come that they have never heard it? And surprisingly, the radio presenter asked the woman, have you heard of any person whom this man has cured? And that is why I made this statement that I'm hoping, believing that someday that the world will believe him.
Now, the world will come in terms with him, not to believe him. They will not, the world research is not a belief system. There's a protocol that, it's just like some pastors or whatever will come and tell you this is this, this is it, this is this, and that people will believe. But it's research world is different. Research world is a kuro eye. And be it as it may, we will love Ezeibe to continue in this stride, like he said, which are all I wanted to hear, is that this work is with NAFDAC as at now for registration. And then the international space will look at it again and then continue. And then he will have his patency I think patency period is over 10 years.
Sorry, BBC.
Yeah.
Let me talk about that now. You see, why I believe that our country has a problem. Unlike some other people who have claimed to cure HIV or economic diseases, if you ask them, I don't want to mention names, if you ask them, what are they doing? They don't want to say it because they want to, according to them, they don't want their invention stolen. But Ezeibe has come out openly. I have gone to a panel set up by federal government of Nigeria at Abuja. After through the investigation, they wrote me a letter, continue what you are doing. They never announced it that we have found him to be saying the correct thing. I went to NIMA, National Institute of Medical. In fact, first and foremost, I met the NIMA director who is still there, Salako. I met him for the first time in NTA. NTA invited me, Salako, the then Naka, this man, and ACDC. Three of them came against me at NTA Abuja. We were debating, is it true that HIV can be cured? After that discussion, according to those who listened, there was no result. I said, people had won. Those who listened, I was able to teach them science. Then I went to NIMA. I called the NIMA director. He said he was directed by the Secretary to Government of Federation, even though he didn't tell me. When he invited me to do the work, I thought we became friends from the NTA discussion. I didn't know that the government sent him. But I went there and presented myself. We were doing the test. Do you know what happened? When we were getting results that was good, I saw that I couldn't believe, trust them again. I drafted a report for publication. I sent it to them. They looked at it. I sent it abroad. It was published in an American journal. When these people saw the journal, they wrote the American journal that they did not do any work with Ezeibe. What I'm talking about, government agency of Nigeria. Even though that they are working on medicinal synthetic aluminum silicate, they forgot that medicinal synthetic aluminum silicate is a patent, not the natural name. So once you say medicinal synthetic, you are owing Ezeibe. How can you be working on medicinal synthetic aluminum silicate without working with Ezeibe? Which means that even Nigerian government, that is where the government should be talked to. So now, remember, I'm sure there are more than one person that had it, that the Nigerian NTA was announcing that Nigerian scientists had found cure for COVID-19, that then Vice President Osinbajo was going to unveil it on so and so day. Then when I challenged them, I said, is it your medicine? They kept quiet. That inauguration did not hold. Is it how to progress? What was wrong in Nigeria coming up and say, oh, a Nigerian scientist, like America will say, Nigerian scientist has discovered this thing. Nigeria will take the credit. Whatever is due to the scientist will be give to him. Why must he be? Because he says even, you will not announce it. So, Nigerian government, I'm sure you had it. Somebody must have had it. Nigerian government said, we have found cure for COVID-19. Yet, that inauguration did not take place. Can we ask Nigeria, is it not true that you announced this thing? If you announce it, did you find out it's no longer true? If it's no longer true, what happens to that person? So that is where we have problem. If it was other countries, you see that the president will come and say, American scientists have found cure for this. Why can't Nigeria say that? I have done 3 investigations at Abuja. If I remember his name now, who was the chairman of the Professor somebody who he's a medical personnel. So people thought that I shouldn't go. They will find me guilty. They couldn't find me guilty. They gave me clean bill of notes. What I was doing. I went to NIMA for practical something. They tested it. Yes, Nigerian government has not made any pronouncement. Even if the message is not working, government should have come out and say we have investigated it. It's not true. They didn't say it's not true. They didn't say it's true. What government did was to write their journal that they are working on medicinal synthetic, but they don't know anything. That is where we should talk to our government.
You see.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Falana, are you talking?
Yes, sir. I want to talk, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, Falana, you can talk. Are you Femi Falana's son?
No.
Far away. Okay, far away from me. But you're not from. Are you from Ekiti State?
No, I'm from the Lagos Island. This is Falana.
Go. Oh, yeah, fire.
Thank you, sir. I want to give kudos to the inventor, the innovator. In fact, I so much happy hearing this news. It's a good news. I'm just hearing it. You know, Nigerian government. So I'm a politician and also an academician. But I must be sincere with you. They would not want it to see the day, the light of the day, because this is where they see all these aid they are collecting from foreign world. How would you want them to be collecting it? To siphon money. That is why they are denying this new discovery. That is why. And though some of us are politicians, we are not this stupid set of the ones that are into this destruction. And that is why we all cannot put our hands and feel because they said the politicians are the ones. Some of us want to repair or do good to the country, so we have to join. We will not leave them. By the time we leave them, they will mess it up. I'm surprised. While you mentioned Professor Salako, Professor Salako was my what was it called? Was a provost in College of Medicine, the University of Ibadan. But my though in politics, I won't say more than that. But I pray that God Almighty will protect you for us. That is my prayer, Professor Ezeibe, because these people, they are, in fact, even some of the companies that do these drugs, that the pharmaceutical company that produce the drug might even sponsor. As I say, these people, I don't trust them. I don't. But I just pray that even if the Americans, I know the Americans might be like Nigerian scientists, like you said, but then it is the right thing. You follow the protocols. The literature reviews are there. Like someone was saying the other time, that if it's African medicine, like the traditional, we have oral evidences and all that, which are not documented, that is giving us problems. But it's not in the review, like the literature review, we can just Google and check. So, but now we have that. They can follow that. I follow your lecture from the beginning that you talk about sanctuary cells and all that. But then you find solution. Just your patent is your patent. Whatever this government might be misbehaving, even from the previous one to this one, I know and I'm very sure we will see the radical one that will accept it and you will be celebrated by the grace of God. Let me just rest
Yeah,
my.
Falana, thank you, my brother. Your think and thoughts are in line with my thoughts. You see, when you are dealing with a system that has inferiority complex, you have to be very careful. They will think Oyibo is the be-all and the end-all. As you see me here, I am the first person in the world to discover a trypanocidal plant. I'm boasting. If I make this statement in the last 37 years, when I come up with that research, you might think I'm a fool. Even the lecturers were looking at me like, how can you? But if you Google my name, IBCC, Wosu LO, Picralima Nitida. Because Wosu was my supervisor, because you must have a supervisor in final year. You can't supervise yourself. But everything about that product is mine. And the way he treated T. Brucey, and the day I came out to defend that, being a final year student, who knows that I will not be in research? The only thing I want to drop my name in research and move forward to be a trader I am today. I needed to put something on the ground. But be it as it may, I remember a lot of batchings, a lot of somebody said, why do you use 20 RAS instead of 100? I said, this is a preliminary work. People will look at it and then move on it. I am the fundamental and foundational research scientist of Picralima nitida. I can still write it down. What I'll do now, I'll write it down, go and check Picralima nitida and check the references. As we speak now, we have up to 50 peer-review referred cases, references, top class references on my name on that product. But when I started, it was like, who the hell are you? a final year student. But they didn't know, and see, that's why in this country, Avogadro worked with Lussac in chemistry. It was Avogadro that helped to clean up Gay-Lussac's law, started by Gay-Lussac. You are not here and there at the same time. So that's the thing. I'm from Okija, where tribal medicine is a hot space. And I said, let me pick on this. And one thing I want to tell is that that these native doctors are telling you they won't give you all these concussions or whatever they're bringing and they're using to treat. And they are telling me, I will not tell you what I put inside. All I need is to pick that chemical, get to phytochemist or chemical lab, they'll analyze it, they'll tell me where all these products are coming from. They'll tell you the plant, because all those native doctors in Africa, all they use is phytomedicine. And the Chinese are using phytomedicine a lot. Okay, look at this product that is used in treating malaria today in the country. In Nigeria, it's a product of phytomedicine. So that's the thing. Phytomedicine is traditional medicine, African traditional medicine, and every other medicine most times builds on phytomedicine, or what we call plant medicine. So that's why anytime I say we don't have documentation, again, we have documentation, but it's oral documentation based on the attributes and of where we found ourselves. As at that time, who reads and writes? What are you going to put right? They have the names of those plants. Every plant, like when I brought Picralima nitida, I didn't even know the name. From Adam, I gave it to Love the Woods. He went to botany and where they typed it. And from there, we went to Maurice, who brought a medicinal plant in Africa, but medicinal plant, a book. And there was no research work on it. The only thing that two people, Ivan and Dazia, went to Gold Coast, because that was the name of Ghana before independence, and said that it's used to treat malaria. That's the literature. Now we have put it into a literature. And the people in Ghana are using it to treat malaria. People in Nigeria are using it to treat malaria. How come across the board they're using one plant to treat malaria? If the knowledge is not shared from one place to the other, how come they even know that this product is treating malaria? That's the knowledge God, the wisdom knowledge has given Africa. But the only thing is that those knowledge are tailored along the line of oral message, oral tradition, because our folklore, our history, whatever you call it, our medicine, are subsumed under oral and not documented. And one thing is that those information, as you are giving it to your son, the son, most especially the first son, if it is useful, if it's not useful, you pass it to another son. It's moving from one generation to the other. Even women. In my village, I knew one woman that died the other day was a rainmaker, because the father was a rainmaker. And the whole thing, the unction of rain making had to fall on her. So even women are into this phytomedicine, what we call native medicine or traditional medicine. So, is there any other comment? Follow. Thank you. Follow. Are you in the human teaching hospital? Hello? Has it gone?
Yes,
We need. Hello?
Hello, I'm with you, sir.
Are you with me?
Yes,
There's some jaga behind this. We need. Hello?
I can hear you clearly, sir.
I said veterinary medicine and human medicine must have a meeting point in research.
Yes.
Like I told you, Picralima nitida. What I'm saying is that Google it. Now, we are not in oral type of whatever, documentation now. Google my name, Picralima nitida. I can write it on the chart. Hello, let me write it on the chat so that you can name the name. Pikra Lima. Sorry, yeah, it's on the chat now. Just people Pikra Lima. You cannot even put IBCC. You will see how far my name has been driven. But originally, when I started it, people were saying, how can you? Who born you? Who is your father? Who is your mother? And that's what Ezeibe is talking about. Inferiority complex. You see somebody, and I said here, Gay-Lussac was a student under Avogadro. Avogadro was a student under Gay-Lussac in chemistry. But it was Avogadro that helped to put the research of so international standard. So what I'm trying to say is this. What I said it was, but now no. You can see the references I have gotten. Published in International Journal of Ethnopharmacology. Moved into the research space for the first time in history. All the works on trypanosomiasis, on malaria, phytomedicine and malaria, remained on malaria, but I moved it beyond malaria to trypanosomiasis, and it has never been done until I stepped into it. It has anti-leishmania property because one thing we know about all these, we should know about all these alkaloids is that all these plant medicines that they have several alkaloids, though most of them are interrelated. So please, we should work together. And then most of, even in advanced world, so they say, because I don't believe in advanced world, we all are advanced. I can't come from an inferior world, and I said it. I say it. And probably that's one of the problems I have with people. I am a superior personality. You can't take me down. You can't move me down. That's my spirit. That's my way I'm wired. Most of the tests they've done, those in pharmacology and toxicology, they've checked it on animals. Not coming up with products they use in human beings. So we did a research, a meeting point in research, both in between human and veterinary medicine. And then we'll move on. Not minding what people will say. The point thing I know, and I always say, is that when you put a candle, you put it in a covered place, it will still glow. So whoever has a point, please should raise, so we can move on, Ezeibe.
Thank you, my boss. This is Dr. Agbese. I want to really appreciate our guest speaker today, Professor Ezeibe. Yes, I was opportune and privileged to be his student at the Veterinary Science Department, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where he taught me medicine. And I never knew he was a producer and the founder or manufacturer of Admacin until I got to the field, where we use Admacin a lot to take care of Gumboro disease and Newcastle disease in poultry. After a long while of the usage, we've been using it when we have issues of Gumboro outbreak. We combine Admacin with other maybe beautiful antibiotics like Doxygen. And before you know, we stand and hold that Gumboro to ransom that it doesn't give us any disaster in the farm. It is a very good research and practice that our Prof is doing. And we are glad that this is coming from the veterinary community. All we hope to do is continue on this kind of platform. And hopefully one day, the government will look at it and they will call you, and wherever whatever you deserve to be known for, you will be known for it. Continue your good work. We'll all in our own side, continue using our product in the veterinary field and to promote what you have been doing. Thank you for this great job today. We appreciate you, sir. We appreciate you. We'll keep praying for you to see that, yes, in a day, one day, that day will come. And your name will be printed on gold in this research. Thank you, Prof. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Agbese. All you are saying is that he should be steadfast. He should not waver. You see, most things, one thing I found out in life is that most things you get out of going through a stricture, what I call a stricture, going through a hard process, or anything you get by passing through a hard process endures. All you need to do is to keep on trucking. Simple. And no other way. Keep on trucking. And once you keep on trucking, things will come your way. Those things will just pass through the test of time and you come out very strong. And one thing I tell researchers, that in the process of doing research, do the research now that can be commercialable. And not that the research that you just be, that will be scientifically nebulous. But research that will come out, if this thing goes through, yeah, Nelson is raising hand. We'll give you time to talk again. Nelson, you can talk. Oh, you're welcome. Nelson, you can talk.
Yeah, good.
Mute yourself and
Good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, oh, beautifully, yes.
I think for me, it's a privilege to be here this morning and to listen to our erudite professor. For me, I was privileged to be. He was my academic advisor back then in UNN several years ago, and I've always known Prof to be a man that is very diligent with what he does and very, very articulate. As his student back then in UNN, I know on several occasions how he has been instrumental to my degree process in the university. He was very, very instrumental to me right from the very first day I discovered that he was my academic advisor. And he helped me in several ways, of which I'm most grateful. Once again, Prof, I say thank you so much for all those time spent together in UNN. Back then in the field, I've been privileged to practice over 10 years or more than before I left Nigeria. Presently, I'm based in UK at the moment. I remember that I had a problem by practicing. I was in the canine practice. And I had a very bad case with a parvo viral infection. And then I had people were talking about admazine. And I reached out to a few colleagues who probably must have used it at that point in time. And to my very, very and keen observation, I began, in fact, I called him and made some requests, and he sent me, I think then the first, 10 packs, and he told me to go ahead, Nelson, use it and don't pay. Do you understand? And I started with those products, and to my very great surprise, we had very, very good responses. And thereafter, I started, in fact, at some point, I started selling it to poultry farmers that were close to Lusada markets as far back as Ogun State then. And that's to bring to light that I think Prof have done a lot with research work. And I think at this point, it is much recommendable we give him kudos to all his efforts in the veterinary practice. Yes, I know very much that sometimes we have these limitations coming from the part of the world we find ourselves, because we have a lot of people who don't want to see things work. And you discover that when you're privileged to stay outside the country and see the way things are being done here, you would have a rethink about where we are coming from, because a lot of things need to be readjusted. So I want to say to Prof that quiet, study is talking, quiet. We need to understand that Prof has done a lot of work, and we'll keep encouraging him, we'll keep supporting him, and we'll go all out to see that his works will get to the foremost part of the world where he has to get to. So once again, Prof, I want to encourage you and say that you've done well. We are with you. We'll keep supporting. We'll keep making
Thank you very much.
advances. And for you not to relent, I know that in due time, every of your labor will get to where it has to get to. So once again, congratulations on this work.
Yeah,
And we wish you all the
congratulations.
best.
Thank you.
Yeah, Professor Ezeibe, congratulations. Nelson, where are you
Thank
staying
you.
in UK?
I'm in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Now, wow, I stay partially in Dundee, between.
I know. Yes, I know.
How do you know? Are you close marking me?
I know you've always been here.
Huh?
I know you've always been here.
No, but right now I'm in London, actually. I'm in
Sir?
Bexley. Right now I'm in Bexley Heath, of southwest of London. That's why my friend's study room. If you look at my picture, you see I'm inside the study room.
Yes.
Anyway, I think what you have said, raise down your hands, is that we should keep on trucking. I know what I went through at UNN. Even when my report came, that is still brucey, that Bacterial nitida is still brucey, trypanosoma brucey, yeah, a trypanoside. But at the end of the day, in America, they take the thing round, they have this, it has over 1,000 alkaloids in it, close to 1,000. But I've seen the alkaloid, they've gotten the chemical, which is aquamidine. If you go to the literature now in the internet, you see it's not an aquamidine. Now, it's aquamidine. That's the chemical in Bacterial nitida that is trypanosocidal, and then plasmodiacidal. So you see, the thing is that when you come up with something like this, and you look, nobody wants, oh, how can a final year student, veterinary medicine I teach, go ahead of me to bring this product? Meanwhile, you have ranges of professors along the line who couldn't do it, and you did it. There is supposed to be jealousy. There's supposed to be animosity. Even in life, in extra life, there's always jealousy and animosity. When you are a big timer. But the only thing you ask yourself, it is only big people that people jealous. Non-entities, nobody jealouses them all. If Ezeibe has not come to this level of research, nobody will pass those comments. And that makes a difference. And that's why in my life, I always strive to make a difference anywhere I go. Because it is that difference that will attract animosity. It will attract jealousy. I don't know what people were saying. I learned what people what people were saying when we went for it. And bring it so that at the end we try it. Bring it to this man, will try it. Bring it to this one, will try it. He has brought it, try it. You don't even need to for him to bring it for people to try. The thing is in the space. Pick it up from the space and try. Even when people are corrugating it, when people are faking it, you will know. You say, okay, go and try, even if it's the fake one, try it. In the process of trying it, you can even, research. Like Lonkamen will tell you, the guy who discovered the tomb of Tutankhamen in Egypt. They have gone round, they couldn't see anything until they saw a small hole. And when they opened the hole, where beheld, you see the tomb of Tutankhamen inside, because everything has been weathered by environment. So what we are saying is that don't just say, and that one thing I tell people, what people cannot achieve, they disdain. And that has been my stoichiometry. What people cannot achieve, what they do is to disdain. Are you disdaining it professionally? Are you disdaining it scientifically? Are you disdaining it under jealousy, animosity, or near stupidity? If Ezeibe brings it and you go and check it's not working, you come and tell the world it's not. Nobody has told the world that it's not working. Oh, how can he come up to this? As if to say people in advanced one have 3 heads. There's the head we have. It's what they have. Emeka, please unmute yourself and talk. Emeka iPhone, yes, can talk.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are joining from. My name is Dr. Emeka Maduike.
Emeka Maduike.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm sorry. I this thing on my on my to-do things today, but unfortunately, one thing led to the other, and I didn't follow the whole process. I joined very late, and the problem, what I'm going to ask, maybe that they've been covered, because I've just been so interested in this Professor Ezeibe's journey with this microparticles. But as somebody who plays in the pharmaceutical field, in veterinary pharmaceuticals, at times I wonder why there's so much controversy over this your invention or this your product. And secondly, I don't know how, with a product that has so much potential that no big pharmaceutical company have picked it up to advance on it. And also, thirdly, why you, Prof, have also not really commercialized it to the level it should be. Is it from your own side, or is it because of not having financiers, or so? Because as somebody, like I said, as somebody that plays in a veterinary pharmaceutical area, it's something that has such a huge potential, and that should be more than where it is at the moment. I've had of adamycin right from when I left veterinary school, but still, it's still kind of a rudimentary product when you compare to other veterinary products that we have. So I don't know whether you guys have talked on that, but I really want to see if there's a little bit of insight into what happened or what is happening, and then see whether, or is it that you, Prof, doesn't have a commercial, proper commercial insight to take you to where you should be. Thank you.
Yeah, Ezeibe, once you finish asking responding to him, Jude, please, we'll give you space.
Let me answer now. I think it's a combination of all of the above. One is Ezeibe, being an academic, may not have been good in business, but my attention has been to prove to the world that what we are saying is true. Making every struggle, believing that government is going to, so if not even government, let me say university. Look, I said, this is wonderful, and pick it up. But I've been disappointed. No matter the effort, like I said, when you take your invention through the university process, you use to supervise students, it passes through all those things. How come that a vice chancellor, or let me say any head of an institution, we hear that his own staff has developed antiviral medicine, and it has passed through all the processes? It is true. I was thinking that once you prove it, that they will take it over. Unfortunately, they have not. But I am getting ready now, because like I told you, I said it earlier, that we have recently, of course, I was clever enough early to apply for patents. I have the patents. I'm now going through the NAFDAC process. So when I complete that NAFDAC process, which will be in a matter of few days, we will now try and see if we can raise the money to package it better and then distribute it widely. So it's a combination of both not being a businessman and, of course, paying more attention to those who are saying it is not true. Let us prove to them it is true. But all the effort to prove is not true. They are not interested. Okay, let me ask a question. Somebody said that a radio broadcaster said, have you seen anybody cured? Are you expecting somebody to come and say, I was 80% have been cured? There are many people who have been cured. Some of them, I sent them this week, they may join. So HIV is a social disease. People who are cured they will not come up and tell you they will be cured. But let me give you an example. I was the other day walking along the university because I was doing what they call exam monitoring. I was walking. I saw one professor. I won't call his name, so because he won't like his name to be called, who had been suffering from prostate enlargement of prostate cancer. Remember, that is what they say they will kill King Charles. And I told you, you will not die. If they cannot cure you in London, come to Nigeria, you can be cured. That is what killed one governor in not too long ago here. But in Mu and you, we cure prostate like no man's business. I called out my friend and said, have you tested yourself? He told me I have not been tested. You have not tested yourself. You keep taking medicine. Go and test. After 1 more week, I met you and said, have you been cured? He said yes. That of course, he didn't say yes, but he said that the titer came, PSA titer, that's the titer they use to measure a marker for prostate. It came from 13 point something to 2 point. I said, if it come below 4, that means you have been cured. That is happening every day. That man, I can call him. In fact, I will tell after we speak, I will refer to Ezeibe, the name of the man. He will see him tomorrow and ask him. So people have been, and what is the relationship between prostate and HIV? Prostate has negative charges. HIV has positive electrical charges. Once the pathogen that is causing the disease is electrically charged, the medicine we use opposite to mop it out. So if you can cure prostate, you can cure HIV. It has cured many. There are many of them. Some of them communicate with me. We have even published it. So at least you may even repair that person. Go and read. Go to Google. You see publications on there that we are cured to person. So he's expecting the person to come to radio BC or whatever radio say, I was HIV positive, I've been cured. They will not come because of stigmatization. So people are being cured. And of course, in science, what you should be talking about is not scientific proof, is not legal proof. Legal proof is somebody will go and mount on the is it what they call it? Podium and they swear. Sorry, let me conclude now. So scientific proof, it's not because of, it's not testimonial. It is scientific. You prove it with what is in literature. So many people have been cured of HIV. Many people have been cured of
allow him to finish.
Hepatitis.
Yeah.
So go on to another person.
Yeah. No, the thing is that I'm sorry, Prof, to cut it short because you see, I'm equally, I've done a little bit of research myself because I have a virology in viral pathogenesis. I have a Ph.D. in viral pathogenesis myself from Atlantic Veterinary College, and from what you have said, there is multiple claims on what your product can do. Yeah. And when you start making multiple claims, there's always there's a need for people to want you to prove each claim scientifically, and make it producible. So, but for me personally, I don't know. Maybe that is why there are inertia in your product going to where it should be, because scientifically, what we've been advised is to make claim one after the other, and each claim, just like what happened with let me say, you see with let's say, what do you call it, this sexual drug, what do you call it, I'm trying to remember the name, that eventually they found out that it can be used for erectile dysfunction, the Pfizer drug. Does anybody remember the name?
Yeah, Viagra.
Viagra, yes. It wasn't what it was. It was after being used that they found out that it can do some other thing. And they worked on it over time before they now brought it out. So, I think making multiple claims for a product at the same time without, trying to prove one, go to the next, move to the next, at times it brings this type of, feeling amongst the scientific people that it's like, is it proper? Is it a coincidence? Is it, So that's why I said maybe it would have been better for us to have, like because everyone knows that adamycin works very well in poultry. Adamycin works in some viral infection. That if we had pushed that narrative and then get it globally recognized, then we'll now move to the next step, which is HIV, and maybe now go to prostate, But that is my own feeling as somebody who have a little bit of knowledge in the scientific field. Because from what you're saying, what I just heard, there are a lot of claims going on for this particular product. It's not even actually a product. It's just like what you're saying is based on electrical charge, which actually might happen, which actually might be doing the what you're saying. But I don't know whether going into the market with all these multiple claims at the same time, maybe that is what is affecting the scientific world from really accepting the product as it is. But right now, you're saying, also, my own suggestion is that another thing too that I found out that is that normally, maybe is the way Nigerian university is structured. Universities always around here have businesses that offtake their research and commercialize it. That is the way most universities abroad are set up. Because in most universities around here, wherever you have a campus, you have a scientific business clusters around it. And what these people do is that they equally work hand in hand with the scientists in the university. Because anything they find out, because university they don't run businesses. The professors do the research, come up, and they bring it up to a certain level, and then they transfer it to the commercial companies who will now take this research work and then commercialize it. Normally, universities don't do that. So that is what happens. I don't know for Nigeria. Maybe that's, that the Nigerian university system is not set up like that, because like in that Maduike on soccer, there are supposed to be clusters of businesses, scientific businesses that offtake research products from the professors in the university. Once it comes to the point, to a certain level, that they see that it has business viability, they will take it and run with it. And that's what happens here. And that is why you come here, like here in the UK, where you have Cambridge. If you're very close to Cambridge University here, you have Cambridge Analytics and all those, a lot of strong, serious companies all clustered around Cambridge. The same thing with London, the same thing with even Edinburgh, So probably maybe that's the reason. But for me personally, I think that if we can move the claim from so many and concentrate on some and move it forward, and then go to the next one and the next one and the next one, that might be, I'm just saying for advice, but
No,
I don't.
What Emeka is trying to say, Emeka Kedu, thank you very much for all this. You see, what Emeka is saying is that you need to put it on a proper perspective for maximization and commercialization of this your research work. Most of the commercial products we've seen, even in veterinary medicine anywhere, are product of research. But the problem we have in Nigeria, they stop in the warehouse. So their research outcomes are warehoused somewhere that is never seen the light of the day. Now we are seeing a research that must see the light of the day because of the need, because of the area of need in agriculture, area of the need in medicine, in human health. So at this level, you need to upscale your contacts. But one thing I will tell you, Ezeibe, don't look at people's comments. If you look at people's comments, you cannot trudge forward. You cannot nudge forward. I have never looked at people's comments. I always believe in what I am. And because I believe in what I am, I try to do what I do within specifics so that I can deal with skeptics. That has been my pride in life. When I came up with this speaker humanity, that I know the comments, even professors at UNN, even those in pharmacology, because I did it in medicine. Why didn't you bring it up in pharmacology instead of in medicine? You see, jealousy number one. Because I work with somebody, I know that I have the same mental, how do I put it? I have the same mental frequency with. Jude Moye, please, you'll be raising your hand. You know, when
Yes.
our program, when we find out that people
Hello.
rush
Can
their
you hear me?
we don't want to rush our program so that we can get the best out of the program. It's not about 1 minute noodle. We don't do 1 minute noodle here. We allow people to talk after presentation so that we can get the deeper understanding. Look at what Emeka Moneke is saying. At least we learned a lot from it. If that we have rushed him out of it by not even allowing him to come at the stage, at the spot he made this point, we wouldn't have gotten this point. And Jude Moye, please. Oh.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Oh, very well.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, depending on where you're listening from. My name is Dr. Jude Moye. I'm reporting from Enugu. I work with Animal Care Services Consult. I'll start by thanking Professor Ezeibe. I'll start by thanking Professor Ezeibe, Maduike, Chiehura. In fact, I'm just seeing your name for the first time. All I know is MC Ezeibe. Thank you very much for the nice work you've done. And a whole lot of us that have spoken before now. Thank you very much. And that thank you, the convener. Please, the Professor Ezeibe's products is a veterinary product, and it's our collective responsibility to take it beyond where it is now. To not just leave it for Professor Ezeibe alone to expose it to where it's supposed to be. The admazine, the conventional name, is a kind of native name in poultry. I've used it a number of times and I've gotten a wonderful results, both in areas of Newcastle and in infectious disease challenges, Gomboro. It's a wonderful drug. Likewise, I'm just hearing about this is NSAMS and so on for the first time today. But with time, we still get to know more about that. Thank you, Dr. Emeka Moneke, for the insights given us by the ideas of how businesses collaborate with university institutions to expose products and market their research work. I once experienced that when I was in India some years ago. And there's something Dr. Falana said some few minutes ago when he was speaking. You see, Nigeria is a kind of rugged system. Like when Dr. Meka was saying, he was saying because he's in London, and London is a kind of organized and refined system. Nigeria is a kind of a rugged country where you need to have it good. If you get people that are rugged, employ them to do the rugged job that you work. If you know people that are refined, get them in the refined aspects of the whole challenge. Professor Ezeibe, sir, with due respect, the reason why they delay your product in that office is that because you've not bribed enough. It's not as if they don't want to accept it. It's not as if they don't know it's working. It's not as if they've not seen it before or they've not heard about it before you brought it to them. But because the necessary background work of what they call it, the backroom arrangement has not been fully fulfilled. They must have told you that maybe they don't want to tell us today. I'm aware of it. Then, in the area of bureaucracy, the government will not approve anything. Hello?
Continue,
Hello?
Jude. Continue, Jude.
The government may not likely approve anything that will shorten or reduce their dependence on foreign aid.
You understand? You put whatever you buy. I wanted to want to buy bread, safe. Do you understand?
Hello?
Continue. Somebody mute yourself, guys. Mute yourself.
That place does 1,000. So let me sell. So what I'll give him is now 26,000.
Yeah, continue.
6,500.
Okay. So government, Nigeria as a country, will not want to kind of accept anything that will reduce our dependence on foreign aid, foreign support.
You
You
entered
understand?
your
Because
car,
we are kind
just
of
flash. She does not have a phone. That's the
import-dependent
problem.
economy.
You flash me, Abi.
Kind of import-dependent
So I'll
economy.
ask favor.
To the extent that we
Over
import things that they can
to
locally
meet him
produce.
outside.
Admasin and its
Let her authentic Okada to come.
Co are all wonderful drugs or all wonderful products. And it doesn't have any negative effect. Because I've thought of maybe I've thought of possibility of developing resistance, which I'm yet to hear that some diseases which I've used it on are already developing resistance. I've not heard of such. Anytime you use this admasin, it gives you the expected result. So such results, without if you take it to government will not want anything that will reduce their dependence on foreign support from either United Nations or World Health. If you know the amount of money that comes in dollars or pounds into the country through World Health, you will marvel. You find out that you may not be able to expose or get enough admasin and these products and these collaborators that will give them kind of return on investment, because our politicians, they don't produce anything. Many of them don't know much about production. They only depend on getting foreign money, foreign aid, foreign loans, share it amongst themselves, and go away. Thank God enough, one of us, Professor Romanus Okonkwo, is the current VC of University of Nigerian Soccer. It's an opportunity to tap into the University of Nigerian Soccer system, because since we are there as one of us, you can come to him, collaborate, either with the university and because the only thing I know that University of Nigerian Soccer is, I think, pure water and the University of Nigerian Soccer bread and so on. Those things are still good, but we still need to come up higher. We still need to come up higher than we are doing today. So if you collaborate with the university system, he knows if he warrants selecting committee of people that work on these products and give it the necessary exposure to the federal government. We have the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture, this Shaba Ibrahim also, of course, as well, though from another university, no, as well. All those things can help us to expose these products better than Dr. Abdullah Ezeibe and attract necessary attention. And if possible, if it's by the time we start exporting, you make more money, we make more name, we make more recognition, and by that your name will be appreciated, because this is your name. Sometimes, someday, your name must be heard of worldwide, internationally. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. And Emeka said something about some universities here commercializing research in partnership with the commercial people, and then they will get the best out of it and make millions and billions out of it. That's the extent of research. Research ought not to have stopped in the university or wherever the research was done. No. Research is for to open the world, open our eyes. What we do not know, we start knowing it. How do we maximize the utility of it and the usage of it? Emeka, you are still raising your hand. Do you want anything to say? If you want,
sorry. Yeah, because I was going to say a few words with regards to what the last person said in terms of, but I don't know whether it's going to be taking your time.
No, we have time. Continue, but we'll soon go in the next 5 minutes.
Because he said something about NAFTA, and he said something about why the product is being not registered and why it is being delayed. So, you see, the thing about we have to be very factual. Nigeria is a good place, quite right, in terms of the way we handle things. But also, we also have some fine people in the country that want to push the country forward. We always don't want to play from the perspective of victim until we have done the right thing. The issue of product, like I keep saying, from somebody who is coming from a science background and having been in this part of the world and see how products are worked on before they become commercialized. You know, it is not easy, it is not cheap putting a product in a market, especially a new product, That is why at times, what Dr. Ezeibe is going through is not, it is not uncommon with pharmaceutical products, putting it in the market. And it requires a lot of money. It requires a lot of contacts. It requires a lot of analysis. And I'm sorry to say, but because I'm not, like Dr. Ezeibe is, what he's claiming and putting forward in the market at times, like I said, it might be very, very true, very, very factual. But the modern society kind of say, well, no, these things are you sure it has been done properly and stuff like that? Because people believe now so much in the process, not knowing. That was why when you look at the verse in the verse in this what do you call it? When we had the coronavirus vaccine, how the process it went, the amount of money was thrown into it and stuff like that. But it could have even been done in a more very, very more streamlined process and things will get the same result. But the process has now been so commercialized that it has to go through all this to get to where it is. So, what am I saying? What I'm saying is that you might have the right thing, but the society has made it in such a way now that it has to go through a certain process. And no matter how you say, you claim you do this, once those processes are not gone through, nobody is going to stake their neck on it, no matter how good it is. And that is why if you look at the claims of so many people on the treatment and cure of HIV, a lot of people have been skeptical. Nobody has ever claimed to have cured HIV that has ever been believed. Because it's a retrovirus. The science we have currently is that you can reduce the titer, but you cannot cure it. So the same thing with like when you even talk about prostate, yeah, you can cure. It's not that you can cure. You can put the cancerous cells at bay over time. But do you have the power, the financial muscle to go through the process of proving this conclusively and going through the whole stages of trials that is stated in based on science, where you do stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and do then the clinical trials, and then the total number of people, so that it becomes accepted. If you don't have a lot of money backing you, it's very difficult to achieve. And that is where that collaboration comes in. And the only way you can do that is to, if I don't know, with the university, is to find the company that will be interested, the industry that have the muscle, the financial muscle. Look, let's say, like I tell people, a lot of inventions are happening every day. The only invention that we hear of is the one that has the impetus to go into the market. People discover things every day, but it's the one that has been commercialized that we see. And it's then that becomes the big hula. Elon Musk is doing all he's doing because he has a lot of financial muscle to play around with him. And then when he comes, oh, this is that. But there are a lot of them that died because they don't have the support, just like what Dr. Ezeibe is now going through. But there has to be that humility of looking to find the right people that will help take you through the process. If not, just make one claim or two. Even if we are going to say this thing is only for veterinary, let us make that claim, internationalize that claim, and then from there we'll move to the next one. I think that's
please.
That is
I
the best
think
way.
we should be rounding up by now.
Yeah.
This is a program of 2 hours, and then we've done 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yes. Ezeibe, do you respond to this? So, and then we will allow her to talk, because we wanted her to talk last week. She crashed that. Okay, Ezeibe, do you have anything to say here? If you don't, Lajimoke will talk, and then we'll round it up. Ezeibe has even crashed out. Yeah. Olajimoke, do you have anything to say?
I'm enjoying it. Sir, anybody on the line, sir?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the program,
You're only enjoying it. Okay. Can we round up now and say call it a day?